Following the Empire's devastating loss of the Death Star in the Battle of Yavin, Darth Vader had two equally important objectives. First, locate his son Luke Skywalker, and second, enact his revenge against the Rebel fleet for his defeat at Yavin. However, Imperial efforts in the immediate aftermath of Yavin were extremely disappointing, much to Vader's growing frustration. As the Rebel Alliance followed up their victory against the Death Star with large-scale raids aimed to keep the Empire off balance, the realities of the Rebel fleet presented a number of glaring weaknesses and problems. If they concentrated their forces on a single Rebel cell, the Rebellion would just reposition their forces and launch a raid on another target. However, if the Empire attacked with too few forces, the Rebellion might counterattack, inflicting yet more losses that damaged the Empire's reputation. Not only that, but the Rebellion humiliated the Empire by refusing to completely abandon its base on Yavin 4. General Jan Dodonna recognized that keeping the Rebel base there was a powerful example of defiance against the Empire, furthering its recruitment efforts. All of this served to threaten the Empire's perceived invulnerability and the belief that it was all-powerful. But Vader finally had an answer for the Rebel base at Yavin 4. The newly designed Super Star Destroyer, the Executor. Determined to crush the Rebellion on Yavin 4, Vader wanted to send a clear message to the galaxy. The Empire may have lost one superweapon at Yavin, but Imperial might was unstoppable, defined now by the Super Star Destroyer. However, the attack led by Vader on Yavin 4, 6 months after the loss of the Death Star, was a disaster. As the rebels evacuated and planned to run the blockade underpinned by the Executor, Vader deliberately left a gap in the blockade to lure in the Rebellion's forces and trap Luke Skywalker. But as Vader's plan was on the brink of success, an Imperial Admiral made a jump to hyperspace to try to quickly cover the weak spot, ultimately crashing the 3 Star Destroyers under his command straight into Vader's flagship, giving Luke and the Rebel leadership the opening they needed to escape. Infuriated by the failure, Vader disbanded the blockade of Yavin and organized a task force that became known as Death Squadron, consisting of his Executor and 5 other Star Destroyers: the Avenger, Devastator, Tyrant, Stalker, and Conquest, with other capital ships and supporting warships to be added as necessary. However, although Vader had one of the greatest concentrations of destructive power at his disposal, he still needed a plan for how he would crush the Rebellion. Fortunately for the Sith Lord, there was an Imperial officer waiting in the wings for just such a task. None other than Grand Admiral Thrawn. The combined forces of Vader and Thrawn turned Death Squadron into the terror of the Outer Rim. Through the ingenious plan masterminded by Thrawn, Vader left unimaginable ruin behind in numerous sectors. Orbital bombardments conducted by Death Squadron completely eviscerated the hideouts and shadow ports used by smugglers and pirates operating in the previously hidden areas of the galaxy. Anything not erased by the capital ships were left in ruin by Vader's TIE squadrons and ground forces, while any targets attempting to flee the onslaught were quickly captured by the interdictor cruisers of Death Squadron, transferred over for brutal interrogation. One might see this as a meaningless destruction of the seedy underbelly of the galaxy, a move undertaken to instill Imperial order, rather than a campaign on the Rebellion itself. However, the actions of Death Squadron were all part of a plan carefully crafted by Thrawn. Knowing that Death Squadron was too cumbersome to chase the small clusters of Alliance raiding forces, Thrawn masterminded a plan that would strike at and disrupt the Rebellion's supply network. Thrawn knew that the rebels stayed so well equipped through material delivered by smugglers, pirates, and other nefarious actors, whose networks were utilized to get shipments into rebel hands. Even better, capturing smugglers and pirates allowed the Empire to uncover small rebel cells and bases that acted as collection points. Their destruction would cut off supplies from the Rebellion and bring them closer to locating the primary rebel base and fleet. Therefore, Death Squadron traveled along the Trialis trade route, the most notable hyperspace trade route in the Outer Rim, decimating any and all connections to the Rebellion supply network to increase pressure on the rebels. The combination of Vader's firepower and Thrawn's deductive abilities were recognized as the deadly threat it was by the Rebellion's high command. Sensing the news that was quickly closing in on them, Thrawn's plan forced numerous rebel cells to flee their bases in the Outer Rim, overcome by fear of Death Squadron. Additionally, Mon Mothma and Akbar were forced to repeatedly move the rebel fleet. Although Thrawn aimed to disrupt the rebellion supply network, the plan he orchestrated with Vader also had a direct impact in assisting Vader's ultimate goal, locating the primary rebel base. When Thrawn uncovered a Corellian operation that was providing war supplies to the rebellion using the Hydian Way, one of 5 super hyperroutes in the galaxy, the Empire discovered that the convoy was destined for the Outer Rim within the Western Reaches. This information was used to blanket this section of the galaxy with patrol craft and probe droids, eventually leading to the discovery of Echo Base on the planet of Hoth. Therefore, these efforts undertaken by Thrawn and Vader allowed the Empire to come closer to destroying the rebellion than any other means, and showed why they were such a fearsome duo within the ranks of the Empire. So there we have it, how Vader and Thrawn almost crushed the rebellion after the Battle of Yavin. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me, for teamwork.